1900 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Pakistan and China have agreed that all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries must continue to serve the vital interests of people. Prime Minister has vowed to ensure supply of flour to masses at lower rates. Minister for Climate Change has underlined the need of concrete steps on emergency basis to tackle climate change issue. OIC has expressed a deep concern over India's attempts to redraw electoral boundaries of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir to alter demographic structure of the territory. Hurriyat leaders and the High Court Bar Association have appealed to the international community to take cognizance of a continued genocide of Kashmiris by Indian troops. European Union Foreign Ministerial Summit is being held in Brussels today to discuss a possible sixth round of sanctions on Russia. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif held telephonic conversation with his Chinese counterpart Li Qiang. Today, both the leaders shared the view that the Pakistan-China all-weather strategic cooperative partnership must continue to serve the vital interests of the people of the two countries as well as the broader interests of peace and stability amidst the evolving regional and global milieu. The two premiers also discussed in detail bilateral matters while agreeing that Pakistan and China would not allow anyone to harm the time-tested all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. The two sides agreed to enhance the momentum of exchanges to take bilateral cooperation to even higher levels. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif affirmed the resolve to fast-track the ongoing and new projects under the transformational China-Pakistan Economic Corridor for socio-economic development of Pakistan. He said the CPEC has immensely contributed to the socio-economic development of Pakistan and also realized its high-quality development. Prime Minister underscored the need for both sides to work together and enhance cooperation between the concerned agencies of the two countries to fully operationalize the special economic zones at an early date. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has directed the provinces to meet wheat procurement targets by the 1st of next month. Chairing a meeting in Islamabad today, he expressed his annoyance over non-fulfillment of wheat procurement targets by the provinces. The Prime Minister said people cannot be put into trouble under any circumstances. He said that federal government will provide flour to the people at lower rates at all costs. He said that shortage of commodity will not be tolerated. The Prime Minister directed Minister for National Food Security to immediately constitute a committee for transparent distribution of important wheat amongst the provinces. He also directed to ensure import of quality wheat. Shahbaz Sharif said that the federal government will also extend every possible support to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government whilst rising above politics. He said serving the poor people is our prime duty. The government has constituted a task force to deal with the issues of climate change. The decision to this effect was taken at a high-level meeting chaired by Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif in Islamabad today. The meeting discussed matters pertaining to recent heat wave and impact of climate change. The task force will comprise of relevant federal ministers, secretaries, the provincial chief secretaries and relevant provincial secretaries, the chairman National Disaster Management Authority and high-ranking officers of other departments. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif directed that the task force must prepare a comprehensive strategy to reduce impact of climate change, avert Shakespeare glacier-like incidents in future, and deal with the issue of water and food shortage. He said the strategy should also encompass steps for water conservation and protection of existing reservoirs and forests. Minister for Climate Change Shri Rahman has underlined the need of specific awareness campaigns and outreach programs to sensitize communities about measures to reduce the impact of challenge. Addressing media in Islamabad today, she said concrete steps should be taken on emergency basis to tackle climate change issue. The Minister for Climate Change stressed that it is our collective responsibility to save water for future generations, and for this purpose, a comprehensive campaign will be launched to educate people for using water at the minimum level. She said Pakistan is rapidly moving from water-stressed to water-scarce country. Therefore, all-out measures will be taken to avert such looming threats. Shri Rahman said that as part of the awareness campaign, initially text messages will be sent to general public regarding heat wave. She also appreciated role of National Disaster Management Authority and Pakistan Met Department for ensuring precautionary measures and to maintain a requisite facilities such as heat stroke centers. This is Radio Pakistan. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is visiting New York at the invitation of U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to attend the ministerial meeting on global food security call to action to be held at the United Nations on Wednesday. According to the Foreign Office, the meeting will bring together a regional diverse group of countries, including most affected by food insecurities and those in a position to take action to address it. The Foreign Minister will also participate in the open debate of the UN Security Council on maintenance of international peace and security, conflict and food security on Thursday. He will highlight Pakistan's perspective in the two meetings and also hold meetings with US Secretary of State. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation has expressed a deep concern over India's attempts to redraw the electoral boundaries of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir to alter demographic structure of the territory. In a statement, the OIC General Secretariat has urged the UN Security Council to take immediate cognizance of the grave implications of such delimitation exercises as it is contravention of its resolutions. It reiterated its solidarity with the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir in their just struggle for their right to self-determination. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Hudud leaders, organizations and High Court Bar Association has appealed to the international community to take cognizance of the continued genocide of the Kashmiris by Indian troops in the occupied territory. Hurriyat leaders and organizations in their statements in Srinagar paid glorious tributes to a civilian youth, Shoaib Ghani, martyred by firing by Indian troops in Shopian district yesterday. The High Court Bar Association, citing locals, refuted police claim that the youth Shoaib Ghani was killed in a crossfire and added that he was martyred in direct firing by the Indian troops. Meanwhile, as the world is observing the International Day of Living Together in Peace today, Modi-led Hindutva regime is not producing detainees in courts deliberately on the dates of hearing. All NATO states are determined to keep anti-Russian sanctions in place as long as necessary. Talking to media after an informal meeting of NATO diplomats in Berlin, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that every member of the alliance wants to bring this war to an end as soon as possible. He further said that NATO will continue its support to Ukraine. The foreign ministers of 27 European Union countries are meeting in Brussels today to discuss a possible sixth round of sanctions on Russia, including an oil embargo. According to the EU representative, the ministers will focus on continued support for Ukraine, diplomatic ties, ongoing work on an action plan to overcome global consequences and counter the manipulation of foreign information. And finally, the weather. Very hot weather is expected in most plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. However, gusty and dust-raising winds with light rain thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Gilgit-Baltistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab and Kashmir. Dusty and gust-raising winds are likely in central and southern districts of the country during the period. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News.